Hello, 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 my ghouls and ghosts and goblins and creatures of the night. Yes, it is midnight and it is officially All Hallows Eve. And, instead of spending it alone, remembering Merlin and all, I thought to be a witch doctor and come on and help you all with anything and everything. So for those of you who want to tune in tonight and watch and such, I thought since the veil was at its thinnest that I would offer, hi Gabriel Cooper, and hello, and thank you for joining me. Oh my god. Excuse all of that. That's not makeup, it's calamine lotion because I burned myself with icy hot just now. But I'm good. So for those of you who have been worried, I am working at Coffee Bean, and I'm going to be joining a website called avidadvice.com where I'll be charging $9 per reading, and I get to pocket 5 of that. So if all of y'all want to like actually help me out and do me a solid, join that website and let's make it happen. In fact, my titleage is Tawanya. Oh my god, you are up so late. Isn't this like 3 o'clock in the morning, y'all? Anyway, that is just so gross. Ugh. Calamine lotion. Avidadvice.com. I don't know how to type it, but it's AVIDADVICE, avidadvice.com. I'll be going live with that. Oh, God, my back. Oh, God, I wish I could afford a chiropractor. Ugh. Anyway, so for those of you who are tuning in at this very late hour, it is a Halloween special. And what is the Halloween special, you ask? Yeah, it's 12:50. Oh my god, it is 12:51. I need to go to bed soon. But it is the witching hour, and if you don't notice my costume is a witch doctor. So here's what we're gonna do. One. Should I share a spell with you? A binding spell that you guys can take home and write for later? Yeah, we should start with a spell. Then I'm gonna bring this candle over and I'm gonna ask Hecate to bring me messages from the other side to anyone who's watching and to anyone who's going to watch. Let me go get my spell book real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so the classic spell book that I have, this is mine, and I'll give you guys a little preview of like the spells that I have. I've been trying to like charm it up a little bit and make it pretty. So here's like some of my later installments to make it like pretty and cute. I wish I had like the girl's thumb, but like here's an eclipse spell. Because I am designing this spellbook to be something that I will gift on to others after I pass into and go back home to the fairy realm. But let's start with my ring. Let's start with a little incantation, with a little offering. So this ring that I'm placing on my finger, right here, has been with me for as long as I've been a witch, and you guys are here now joining me live to celebrate my 21st anniversary of being a witch. It was 21 years ago on this night that after watching the movie The Craft, I went to bed and I was like, I'm gonna be a witch. It's also just, it's just also this is just my first Halloween without Merlin. And to know that it will be continuing and that I have to continue on without him. And it's hard, really hard. And Merlin used to because I got him in March and I became a witch that year on Halloween, and you know, during the teen years of my witchdom, like, you know, like around the 15 to 20 era, like I would forget if it was 15 years or 16 or 17, but all I would have to do was just look at Merlin and remember, I'd be like, oh, you're 17 this year, so I'm 17. And it's just hard to think also that a year ago, when I came home from Halloween, he was here. And he was in my arms. And I know I shouldn't cry about him. Like, in his last week, I kept on telling him when we would cuddle, when I would see just the fact that he was dying. I remember telling him that I'm gonna be okay, and that he didn't have to stick around, that he was free. Like, I released him, you know, but it's just so hard, and I feel bad every time I cry, because it's just like, I'm like betraying my promise, right? Like, I'm betraying my promise that I shouldn't be crying. I told him I would be okay, and I am, for the most part, but what I wouldn't give for just one more second is just kiss his cute little face and feel his paws. He would always put his paws on my cheek. Or for him to interrupt my cat naps. And for just one more moment to hear that loud purr or that annoying meow. And it's stupid to like cry about him because I told him that he can go, and he did. This is my first year without him, and it's the big one. It's the 21st year. So in another realm, I finally get to have my broom riding license, and we can finally drink, you know, there's a witch's brew, but it's an alcoholic thing. Yes, even in the witch's realm, you're not allowed to drink until you're 21. It's just not the same. And I know he's on the other side, and I know he's always watching me. Like, it's become a thing now where he just shows up in my dreams, and I don't even acknowledge him, but this has just been so hard, and it's hard. So I just had to come on here and not cry alone, because I really miss him. And I haven't thought about him this much until, like, this whole month. You know, with Sabrina coming out too, and she's got a cute little black cat, Salem. And me and Merlin used to watch Sabrina together. I just really miss him. So on this night, when the veil is thinnest, I just want to tell him that I am okay. Merlin, I'm okay. I just miss you, and I know you're still there. And we'll always be. I just miss you so much. I'm so sorry. I will always love you, and you'll always be with me. I mean, even then, like, my magical name is Merlin, so in every spell I cast, there's even an essence of him in this ring, because he would even do spells with me in the beginning. He would just, like, come in and sit on my lap. But, I'm gonna get through this, Merlin, I promise. I promise. I promise I'm gonna be okay. It's just so hard. He was my first friend. And I didn't even want to, like, talk to him because he was a black cat. I thought he was the devil. But the minute we locked gazes on each other, it was just love. Ugh. Anyway, I'm sorry for all that. Anyway, yeah, okay. So that's my Merlin moment, and thank you for being with me, because it's better to cry on here than it is to just be alone, and hopefully I got it out of my system. And I actually have to wake up tomorrow, like, at 8:30, so I should probably go to bed soon. But let's do a spell, a simple spell, and any of you can do it yourselves. So all you'll need is some black ribbon. It doesn't even have to be satin ribbon, but you can go to, like, what is it, Joann's or wherever the fuck. Get a spool, you know, and, you know, it's best to do it. So then you get a photo of someone. I'm not going to show you who it is because you could probably trace it. But this is a simple binding spell, and it's mostly designed for when you're like kind of super in love with someone and maybe you shouldn't be. But the thing is about a binding spell is that it's the good thing is that it doesn't like erase the love that you have for that person. It just gives you the opportunity to bind yourself and save yourself from the heartache and the trauma. So I mean, even then, hate is the sister to love. So even if you're hating someone and that person is really affecting you or whatever, and you just want to like get on top of it, then I suggest you do this spell that I made up a long time ago, and it's a binding of love spell specifically, and I have to find it. But here's the thing too, the trick about this is that it will only work when the magic will only work for it if you actually present to it the truth of it, which is that you have to really, really want to like, not, like I've done it several times, especially recently because I have a lot of friendships that I just end up falling in love with them and stuff, and it's just stupid. Oh, here it is, the binding of love spell. So, in my Book of Shadows, I say sometimes to have a friendship with someone is better than having, sometimes to have a friendship with someone is better than having and getting involved with them, which is true. If you find yourself in a really close friendship and you don't want to ruin it by starting to fall in love with them, then use this spell when necessary. But also, when you are being really affected by someone and there's just like this connection and you just don't want to like have to do it, it's really good to just put it away. And you will only unbind yourself when you're ready. But the part of this is that you have to wrap the ribbon around, and then once you do, you have to slam it tight in the book. So if it's a journal, if you are a journal writer, a journal would be really good because that's where you pour your heart out. That's like your own spell book. If you're a Christian, then the Bible would be a really good one. If you're Kabbalah, then the Kabbalah book. If you're whatever, you know what, even if you put it in one of your childhood books that you grew up loving, like I doubt anyone loved Moby Dick or the Three Musketeers, but if there's something that is something, it's just good to bind it and put it right, because then you want to bind the emotion, right? So here we go. I'm going to bind my friend. I'm not going to say his name, but the spell is really simple. So you take the ribbon, and it's good to have it be long, and it's a really simple chant. All you have to say is winding ribbon, binding thread, bind the heart and bind the head. You keep in mind that it's yours, so if it's not for you, then you would have to actually say the person's name, I suppose. But here we go. I'm going to start the spell, and it's a binding spell, and then you just close your eyes and just imagine tightening it all up. Winding ribbon, binding thread. Bind and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread. Bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread. Bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread. Bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon. And you want to make sure you get to the bottom. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. Winding ribbon, binding thread, bind his heart and bind his head. And you want to make sure that it's all tight, like a mummy. Then, since my book is a spell book, I'm going to put them right in the back. And then only after you slam the book shut, then you say so to be. And that is a little binding spell from me to you. Now, let's get some messages from the other side. There may not be too many. Maybe this is something that, no, yeah, let's say. Messages to those who might see. I ask Hecate for you to bring it to me. So for someone, there's a message that says, don't ever stop believing in yourself. We are always with you. Another one that's coming through is, well, it's in Spanish, so I have to wait. Tú tienes la sangre de tus ancestros y ahora es el tiempo para empezar, or whatever to begin means, para empezar tu mágico. No te preocupas, porque estamos aquí contigo siempre, pero el tiempo es ahora, el tiempo es ahora, el tiempo es ahora. Y tú eres un espíritu de luz, espíritu de luz. Y te amo, abuela. So that was coming from someone's grandmother. You have to let me go. I can't cross over until you let me go. It's a young person, and I think it's a boy. You have to let me go. You can't move on until you let me go. It's a young boy. Something bad happened. But someone is carrying something. This is for the live people, but it's also for the people who might watch it. I'm only going to take like 3 more messages because this is really draining and I should go to bed, but go for it. That's all that one is. It will be okay is another. And the last message she's going to give me is, love is love, and I accept you for you. So that I was an elder person. Okay, great. Let me close the window now. Hecate, thank you for the messages you brought to me. Close this window, close it good, seal it shut, and never will it be misused or misunderstood. I ask that you shut it and close it off, and messages will only be received when I ask. And open the window. Blessed be, and thank you for that. Okay, so that is the messages from Hecate on the other side. I hope that's been useful to some people, and I'm gonna go to bed. It's late. Happy Halloween to all of you, and I will close with a wonderful monologue from one of my favorite TV shows, Bewitched. We are Quicksilver. We are Quicksilver, a fleeting shadow. A whisper in the wind. No, I'm getting it all wrong. God damn it, we are Quicksilver. That might be fine for others, Samantha, but it's not fine for us. We are Quicksilver, a fleeting shadow. A distant sound. Our home has no boundaries to which we cannot pass. We live in music and the sparkle of a star. Oh, our home has we live in music, the sparkle of a star. And you want to trade all of that for a half acre of crabgrass. So, merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. I hope that those messages were worthy. And I love you all. Tune in next month when I have to do a musing, which I will. But for now, I bid you all a good night and have a safe and happy Halloween. And I love you.